Hello, welcome to my channel. Normally I show my monthly blooms video at the end of the month, and this time some of my violets and other gesneriad plants decided that they're gonna bloom in the middle of the month, and I was afraid that their flowers will fade in a couple of weeks when I'm ready to make the monthly blooms video, so I will show them to you today. There will be also a few non-violet plants, but they're in the same family, in the gesneriad plants family. We'll start with Episcia called Pink Smoke, and it is now blooming with very pretty bright pink flowers inside of the bubble garden, and I like it for the color not only of the blooms but also the color of the leaves that have some taupe, some pink, and some light sage green in them. I keep this bubble terrarium closed just like this one, and I just opened it for this video. And in this one there is another Episcia plant called Cleopatra and some terrarium moss, and this one is blooming now as well with some very bright orangey red blooms with yellow throats. This one is also a beautiful Episcia with some pink, green, and cream colored leaves. And I noticed that this one likes growing in a bubble, so I just keep it there. It started outgrowing it somewhat, so I might need to do some repotting. And I know I promised making a video about how I plant Episcia plants in a bubble, so that video will have to wait because, as you may know, we are moving this year and the place we're in right now doesn't have large surfaces on which I could film the bubble repotting video. So I do have it on my list, and as soon as we have moved and I have a large desk for filming, I will make that video as well. Here we have one of my favorite blues, African violets that bloom with blue blooms. It's called Buckeye Scrumptious, and I first saw it during my very first African Violet show visit. It was in 2019, and the show was in Palos Verdes in California. And when I saw this plant on the display, I was so taken by the full double blue blooms, and they have some white and green edge around them. It's truly scrumptious. And this variety has beautiful variegation on leaves as well. The rosette currently needs some grooming, but I will wait to do that after our last move. Behind it is the first bloom on Optimar Los Angeles. It's the only girl leaf variety that is currently available with the official distributor of Optimaras in the United States, Selective Gardener, and I grew this plant from a leaf that I got from Selective Gardener in 2020, I believe, or maybe it was 2019, I don't recall right now. So it blooms with very dark purple, semi-double what it looks like, and the pigment is not fully developed yet on the blooms, so I'll wait for the next blooming cycle for it to show its true potential. And next to it is another Optimara and also the first blooming cycle. This variety is called Optimara Trinidad 2, so it has the Roman numeral 2 next to it. I don't have the original Optimara Trinidad variety, but I believe it blooms with single blooms or maybe even semi-double. I would need to check the official description. And the one marked with the Roman numeral 2 blooms with double blooms that are lavender in color with some darker tips on the petals and some green edge around them. And I grew this plant from a leaf that I purchased on eBay. I think it's not currently offered at the official distributor of Optimaras. Here is Allegro Peaches and Green by Janet Stromborg, keeping on blooming, and it's a true bloom factory. It just keeps producing new blooms, and the old blooms are staying long time because of the green edge and the amount of chlorophyll in the petals. They look like little ruffled peachy pink roses with some olive green ruffled edge around them. Next to it is a Russian hybrid called EK Морской Волк or EK Морской Волк, and it translates into English as EK Sea Wolf. I've been showing it quite a bit, and right now it's finishing its blooming cycle, and it has huge double cornflower blue, I would describe the blue shade on the blooms, and the petals are wavy, and these are very large blooms. And next to it is another Russian hybrid, a very young plant of Deo Marzipan by Olga Aksionkina, and it has the blooms that are of a cream color, and they look like marzipan roses. They even have some blush in them. I love this hybrid. Behind it is a variety that I grew from a leaf that I got from Bloom Lovers, Blue Lace. This is by far the largest African violet in my collection, and I just recently groomed it, so I removed at least 2 or 3 rows of outer leaves. It was growing, was almost like double in size. That's how large it was. It has beautiful white and blue frilled double blooms. They look very pretty on the medium green foliage background. This variety has been a little bit of a mystery to me, because when I read the official description of Blue Lace, it describes the foliage as dark green. And so I was wondering if what I have is a sport of Blue Lace. And then also I've seen another variety that reminded me of my plant called Harmony's White Lace, and the blooms looked very similar to what I have. They had more white in them, but mine also blooms with mostly white in the cooler growing temperatures. So I still don't know if I have the true Blue Lace, or maybe what I have is the Harmony's White Lace. But I love it regardless because of the beauty of the blooms, and also because it's an easy grower and has been a happy camper with me. Now here is Wild Irish Rose with variegated foliage and smaller size blooms that are very pretty. They have light pink and dark pink, and sometimes they even have green edge in cooler growing temperatures, and this plant desperately needs to be repotted. So I might make another video, and I think I should have enough space on this shelf to film it, of how I repot a violet that grows on a wick using a wick watering method, and that was also requested by one of the subscribers, so hopefully I'll be making it soon. And finally, here is a bubble garden that was my very first bubble garden that I ever made, and I was inspired by a Facebook African Violet Nerds group member, and her bubble gardens look like little fairy gardens, very beautiful. And so this is the first attempt that I made, and if you have been watching me for a while, you probably saw it. So in case you were wondering, right now it looks like a wild forest because of the move. I didn't have time to tend to it, so it just grows whichever way it likes right now. But here, let me show you what we have originally planted in here. We have Rob's Twinkle Blue, and on this side we have Chanta Spring. It's a miniature trailer. They're still looking fine, so I think I will just keep them in there until the move has been completed. And also we have some other plants that randomly grew inside. I didn't plant them there on purpose, and the terrarium moss that I did plant in there seems to be wanting to take over the whole bubble. So that's about all the news from the Grey Turtle Violet garden as of today. And today is May 20th, 2021.